Thank you for joining us. Welcome to LumioseStation.
What's up, LumioseStation, and welcome back to another episode of the Pokémon DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. In the last episode, we covered the bug flying type Ninjask, and I asked you guys which Mega Evolution you wanted to see, Mega Slowbro or Mega Steelix, and eventually, in the end, whatever you guys chose, Mega Steelix. So we're going to be covering Steelix and Mega Steelix today, and we need to have a vote for next week's episode, which shall be between Goodra and Gorgeist, two Gs from the Kalos region. So we can either look at a big, bulky dragon type Goodra or the ghost grass type Gorgeist. Let me know which one you want to see next week down below in the comment section, guys. The one with most votes will be covered in the next episode. But for now, let's take a look at Steelix. So Steelix, it's a steel ground type and is number 208 in the National Pokédex, and it's classed as the Iron Snake Pokemon due to its long length and the fact that it's a steel type, which is similar to iron in a way. Its height is classed as 30 feet 2 inches or 9.2 meters, but this is most likely its length because it is a snake Pokemon. It's a snake-like Pokemon, so this time the length or the height is measured as the actual length. So it weighs 881.8 pounds or 400 kilograms, so Steelix is not a very light Pokemon at all. It's pretty darn heavy. It's in the mineral egg group, and the split between male and female is 50-50, so you can get either a male or a female, so equal chance. Evolution chain wise, Steelix will evolve from Onyx when it is traded while holding a metal coat. So this metal coat just wraps around Onyx, and there you are, a Steelix. Base stat wise, for Steelix, its health points are 75, which they're good, but they're not amazing. Its attack is 85, which is alright. Its defense, however, is the main point for Steelix here, which is 200. One of the highest stats ever. 200 in defense. You are not taking this thing down with a tackle. Special attack for Steelix is 55. Not that we're going to be too bothered about it. It's pretty darn low, so we won't be using it at all. Not that Steelix really has a good special move pool. Its special defense, however, is only 65, so it doesn't really match up to Steelix's 200 defense with its special defense, so it is very weak and very viable to be taken out by special moves, so certainly don't let this thing take a Surf or a Fire Blast. Steelix's speed is 30, which is even worse than any of its other stats, but really, with that higher defense stat, we don't really need to worry about speed too much. We're not going for the speedy stuff, we're going for basically bulk. The abilities that Steelix has available to it, there are 3 here, 2 basic and 1 hidden. The first basic is Rockhead, which protects it from recoil moves. This is an alright ability, but however Steelix does not have access to very good moves. It doesn't get Head Smash. I'm not even sure what moves it gets, but it doesn't get very good moves. It doesn't get Head Smash, it doesn't get any other recoil moves apart from maybe Takedown, if anything. Takedown or Double Edge would be the only options there, so really this ability is wasted on Steelix. If it gets Head Smash at a later date, it will definitely become a viable ability though. Its second basic ability is Sturdy, meaning it can't be knocked out with 1 hit, which means, even if you're on full health, even if it's a +6 special attack, it's not going to take you out, okay? So Sturdy is going to help you out there. You're going to survive at least 1 turn unless the enemy has Mold Breaker. Its hidden ability is Sheer Force, which means it removes the additional effects from moves to increase the damage of the move. We'll talk more about this when we get onto the set later, but Sheer Force, it's an alright move for or ability rather for Steelix. Not amazing, but it can be used, just maybe not to the best effect it could with other Pokemon. So, looking at the typing for Steelix, being a steel ground type, it resists a lot of types. It resists normal, flying, rock, bug, psychic, dragon, steel, and fairy type moves, which is a hell of a lot. Looking at these types in particular, normal is mainly a physical type, so is flying, so is rock. Bug, basically it's mainly a physical type, so is dragon, so is steel. Psychic and fairy, yeah, they're mainly special, but a lot of those resistances are physical, which means you're not going to take any damage from them at all. However, we have the weaknesses for Steelix as well. It has 4 weaknesses, which are Fire, Water, Fighting, and Ground. Fire and Water are both mainly special, Fighting is physical, Ground is mainly physical as well. So generally, Fire and Water are your worst nightmares with Steelix. Then looking at something else for Steelix, it is immune to 2 types, Electric and Poison. Electric because of its ground typing and Poison because of its steel typing. So Steelix has 2 types of moves it can switch in on with no effect to it. So it can switch in on a Thunderbolt, on a Poison Jab, whatever, and it's going to take no damage whatsoever. And a hell of a lot of types, 8 types there, that you can switch in and take fairly no damage, unless of course it's a Psychic or Fairy move, in which case it's going to do a bit more to you. Then Steelix takes neutral from the other 4 types left over, which are Grass, Ghost, Ice and Dark. Fun fact, before Generation 6, when Steel resisted Dark and Ghost, you would only take neutral from 2 types. You would have had 10 resistances, 2 immunities, 4 weaknesses and 2 neutral, which means Steelix was a hell of a good typing back in the day. But, however, it's a bit worse now, with 4 neutral moves there, 4 neutral types: Grass, Ghost, Ice and Dark. Grass is mainly special, Ghost is mainly physical generally. I think Ice is mainly special and Dark is mainly physical, so really Fire, Water, Grass and Ice are your things to watch out for, as well as any special move in general. Just don't let those hit you and you'll be fine. So, if we then move on to look at some highlighted moves of Steelix, see what is good on it and what not. First one, which is learned at level 16, or via breeding, via egg move, or again via a tutoring in Auras, is Stealth Rock, which is a rock move. It sets up Stealth Rocks on the enemy opponent sort of thing. Because you're bulky, you have the opportunity to come in, Stealth Rock up, take a couple moves, switch out again. They might remove the Stealth Rocks later on, and you can always set them up again because you're pretty bulky and you can take those moves to set up. So whereas, a Pokemon that's really frail, they're going to just Stealth Rock maybe, and then they're going to die. That's your Stealth Rocker gone. Whereas Steelix can come in, Stealth Rock, and switch out again. So it's pretty good in that way. Then at level 20 it can learn Gyro Ball, which is a steel type move, and this does damage depending on how much slower you are than your enemy. So say Steelix is facing against a Greninja. Greninja is a really fast Pokemon. You use Gyro Ball, say it's used an ice type move, I don't know, for some reason against you, don't know why I wouldn't use Skull, but just for the sake of this guys. It uses Ice Beam, it does some decent damage to you, but it doesn't take you out. Then you use Gyro Ball. It's going to be super effective for a start, plus you're really slow, they are really fast. Therefore, Gyro Ball is going to do a hell of a lot of damage. So, definitely a viable move to run on sticks, especially with given that 30 speed. And obviously, it goes without saying, if you are running Gyro Ball, do run a nature that reduces your speed, because that makes you even slower, and it means Gyro Ball is going to do even more damage. Then at level 37 rather, Steelix can learn Crunch, which is a dark type move, does decent damage. It's going to be used with the Sheer Force set, just because it's just, sort of variation moves. But without Sheer Force, Crunch really doesn't have a place with our Steelix moveset, and obviously I'll talk more about that as we get onto that. Then onto some TMs. We have TM05 Raw. Because Steelix is a bulky Pokemon, you might see someone come in and say, okay, they can't really do much damage because they're bulky, so I'm going to come in and just set some stuff up and then just sweep through their team. However, you have Raw, so you can Raw out any opponent you want. Say they're setting up some Swords Dances, yep, Raw, bye, and you just completely countered that. So Raw is definitely a viable one, especially if something comes in that you don't want coming in. If you can say, okay, I think they're going to switch into this Pokemon, you can insta-Raw, they'll send them in, and then send another Pokemon out, and eventually they'll stop doing that maybe, and you can start attacking or maybe switch out yourself. So a good scouting move. Then we have TM06 Toxic, which is going to poison the opponent badly. Again, because you're bulky, you can sort of last out against that. And obviously, as I mentioned with Stealth Rock, you can be here for most of the battles, so you can Stealth Rock and Toxic at the start, and then you can Stealth Rock and Toxic later on too. Then we have TM26 Earthquake. This is your main stab, it's pretty powerful. Earthquake is basic for most Pokemon, so there's really not much to say here. Then we have TM64 Explosion. Now, interesting move, very much tailored to one of the sets we're going to look at. I'll talk more about it when we get there, but Explosion kills you while doing a hell of a lot of damage to the opponent, because Explosion has the highest base power of any move, which I think is 200. So it's a really, really powerful move. Then we have last TM is TM82 Dragon Tail. Very much the same as Raw, except it does damage as well and sends them out of battle. The reason we got this as well as Raw is because Raw can't hit Ghost types, Dragon Tail can't hit Fairy types, so you can either have, you won't be able to get rid of Ghost types, or you won't be able to get rid of Fairy types. Yeah, it'd be a choice basically. Two last moves here. One is an Egg move, which is Heavy Slam, which does more damage on how much lighter the opponent is than you. So very similar to Gyro Ball, but the heavier you are and the lighter they are, the bigger the difference between it basically, the more damage it's going to do. Because Steelix is a heavy Pokemon, it's going to do a fair bit of damage to those light ones. The last move here is a tutor move from Auras, which is Iron Head, which is going to do decent damage. It's a nice steel stab as well, and obviously it's again tailored towards a sheer force set, because Iron Head can have secondary effects, so it's going to get a boost, but we'll talk more about that as we look onto the set. But before we do that, we have to look at the Mega Evolution for Steelix. So, Mega Steelix. It's a steel ground type, so it keeps the same typing, nothing too amazing there. However, it does grow bigger. Its dimensions go up to 34 feet and 5 inches, or 10.5 meters, so it grows a meter in length, as well as about 4 feet in length, I think. so it's getting a bit longer as well. And its weight goes up. Its weight goes up to 1,631.4 pounds or 740 kilograms, which is almost double, or well, not almost, it almost double its weight in the first place. So it almost doubles in weight. So that is going to help us out with Heavy Slam indeed. The Mega Stone for Steelix. The Steelixite can be found in Granite Cave on the second basement floor, and it requires the Mark Bike. So you have to go to Morville, grab the Mark Bike, and then come back to Granite Cave and go on through to get the Steelixite. You can't get it when you come through in the first place. The Mega Evolution for Steelix, as you can see there, it gains some crystal-like additions. When this first revealed, I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a Steel Ice type because of these shards, but no, keep the same. They're just crystals, and it has these weird blue circles as well, which seem to hold its body together now, almost like magnets. Who knows though? So, the base stats for Steelix, something more important. Health points are going to stay the same at 75. Attack gets a boost of 40 to 125, which means its attack stat is now pretty darn decent. Its defense stat gets a boost of 30 further on from 200 to be 230. Nothing is going to break through that defense. Nothing at all. Its special attack stays the same at 55, and its special defense does get a boost up to 95. So that is a boost of 30. So it's a pretty useful boost actually. 95 special defense is not something to be, not something to turn your nose up at. It's pretty good. Its speed, however, does stay the same again at 30, so we have 40 attack, 30 defense, and 30 in special defense. So very good and very widespread, because you don't want to increase your speed. Special attack you're not going to use anyway, so yeah, attack, defense, and special defense are the mainly wanted ones, especially that nice boost in special defense there. Mega Steelix's ability is not useful that much. It's Sand Force, which means that it boosts certain moves' power in a sandstorm. So it boosts the power of ground, steel, and I think rock type moves as well. Obviously when you're using it in a sandstorm. Mega Steelix doesn't have Sandstorm as a priority ability, so you're going to have another sandstorm, either run sandstorm on Steelix or have another sandstorm on your team, like a Tyranitar or whatever, Hippopotas, whatever, Hippowdon, that's the one. Yeah, that'd be the idea there. So that's Mega Steelix. Now, if we move on to look at the competitive sets, we have 4 sets coming up here. One is a basic sort of normal Steelix defensive set. Another one is a normal Steelix special set, I'm going to call it. We'll look at it, obviously I'll explain when we get there. The third one is going to be a sheer force set for Steelix, and the final one is going to be your Mega Steelix set. So, let's get started on the first one. Moveset is Earthquake, Raw or Toxic, Heavy Slam and Stealth Rock. Its ability is going to be Sturdy, Nature is Careful, Hard Item is the Leftovers, and the EVs are going maximum health points, maximum special defense, and the rest in speed. So first up, your moveset. Earthquake is your main stab, so not much else needs to be said there. Stealth Rock is there for you to set Stealth Rocks up. Raw or Toxic is for you to get rid of any opponents that are nasty, and then Toxic is just if you want to poison opponents instead, so you can either have one that's going to have ability to raw Pokemon out, or poison Pokemon. So you're looking at Raw is going to mainly focus against, sort of maybe offensive Pokemon that have the ability to set up, whereas Toxic is going to be used against bulky Pokemon like yourself. Heavy Slam is there as your last move, because Steelix is a heavy Pokemon, so, you're going to do a lot of damage with Heavy Slam against most of them. Sturdy is ability because in case you face up against a really powerful special attacker that's going to be able to one-hit kill you, that's not going to happen because of Sturdy. Nature is Careful. Now Careful actually boosts special defense and lowers special attack, so it's not like we need our special attack. We're not running Gyro Ball, so we need to reduce our speed, so yeah, we'll boost our special defense because special defense is pretty low. Your physical defense does not really need to be boosted whatsoever because it's already high enough. Leftovers is held items so we can actually be bulky and stay in the battle. And EVs, we're putting maximum health points in special defense just to give you all that bulk in special as much as you can, and the rest in speed. You could take this out of speed and put it into attack, or maybe in defense if you wanted, but I wouldn't put too much in speed, but you can put a little in speed if you want to. How would you use a set? Well, you go in, you Stealth Rock, you Raw if it's something you don't want to be facing, you can Toxic if it's something that's bulky and you want to just help out there, and then you just Earthquake, Heavy Slam, whatever's going to do most damage. So yeah, that's basically it. There's not really much else, You could go in Stealth Rock, Toxic, and then switch out, and keep your Steelix alive for later on to re-Stealth Rock and re-Toxic, but who knows? It's up to you. So the second set, this is a special set, you'll see why. Stealth Rock is the first move. Then it's Earthquake, Heavy Slam, and Explosion. Ability is Sturdy, Nature is an Animal one, held item is a Kustat Berry, and the EVs are maximum health points, maximum attack, and the rest in speed. So, what's a Kustat Berry? Well, I'll explain it when we get there. Tease you a bit more. Stealth Rock is your basic Stealth Rock. You're going to switch in, you're going to Stealth Rock, generally. Earthquake, main stab. Heavy Slam, steel stab, because you're heavy, basically. Explosion, this does a lot of damage, but it does kill you, which is the downside. Ability is sturdy, so you're going to be able to survive at least one hit. Nature is adamant, because this time we're not really looking at being too bulky. Yeah, we want to stay in for a bit, but we don't want to be too bulky, okay? But yes, nature is adamant. Held item is a Custat berry. What does a Custat berry do? Well, when a Custat berry is eaten, it actually means that the next move used by this Pokemon is going to take priority. Okay? So think about that for a second. It activates when you're down to about a quarter health points. So, this Pokemon, this enemy Pokemon does enough damage, you're down to about 20% health points. And now your next move is going to be priority. You're going to die next turn, pretty much, or maybe in 1 or 2 turns. What can you do? Custat Berry is giving you priority. Use Explosion. You're going to die anyway. You may as well go out with a bang, literally. And this works with Sturdy as well. Say you go in, you're facing against this really powerful special attacking Charizard. It uses Fire Blast. It hits you, puts you down to 1 health point. Custat Berry activates. Priority for next move. There goes your Explosion. Boom! Right in their face. Kabam. That's it. Done. That's it. It's done. Basically. Your EV's maximum health points attack. Attack because we just want to. That's why we've got an adamant nature. We want to do as much damage with this explosion as possible because it's going to rip through a hell of a lot of their, hell of a lot of their health points. Hopefully kill at least one of them. Well, one. It can't do more. Yeah. Hopefully knock out one of their Pokemon. Basically. Rest in speed. Just to have a little speed at the start. You could put this in special defense if you wanted to. Or physical defense, or maybe even special attack if you just want to be quirky like that. But yeah, that's really that set. You go in, you Stealth Rock. When your Custat Berry activates, you explode in their face. That's pretty much it. So, if we move out onto the Sheer Force set for Steelix. Moveset, we're starting off with Stealth Rock here. Basic Stealth Rock, we're running on all the sets basically. Earthquake is your main stab. Iron Head is your steel stab, and Crunch is just a coverage move. Sheer Force is the ability here. Adamant Nature because we want to do some damage. Held Item is Leftovers because we still want to stay in the battle a bit. And the EVs are putting maximum health points in attack and the rest in speed. So, Sheer Force. It removes secondary effects from moves, but it does boost the power of the moves. It's not going to work on Earthquake because it doesn't have any secondary effect. Unfortunately, there's no other ground type stab. It does have a secondary effect that's available to Steelix, unfortunately, so we're stuck with just Earthquake. Iron Head and Crunch, however, both get the Sheer Force boost, so they're going to do a decent amount of damage there. So you sort of, you use the move that's most powerful. Go in, Stealth Rock, use the move that's most powerful. Nature is adamant to give you that attack boost. Leftovers to just try and stay in there for a bit longer. You could run a fully physically defensive set with this, but we want to do some damage really. So maximum health points in attack, just health points to bulk you up a bit more, attack so you can do more damage. Rest in speed, you could put this in special defense or physical defense, but if you want a bit more speed, you can go for that too. How would you use the set? Go in, Stealth Rock, use the best move really, switch out if it's too risky. That's pretty much how to use that set. It's not that complicated at all. So we'll move on to the last set, which is going to be the Mega Steelix set. So, first up we have Stealth Rock. As on all the sets, we're running Stealth Rock. Then we have Raw or Toxic, Heavy Slam and Earthquake. So pretty much identical to the first set we looked at. Ability is Sturdy again. Nature is going to be an Impish one, and the Held Item is going to be a Steelixite. EVs are putting maximum health points, maximum special defense, and the rest in physical defense. So, Stealth Rock, Stealth Rocking basically. Raw in case there's a threat, or Toxic in case you want to get rid of some bulkies. Heavy Slam because Mega Steelix is twice the weight of normal Steelix, so Heavy Slam is going to just crush buildings, it's going to crush cities, it's going to destroy an enemy Pokemon, basically. Especially if it's super effective. Imagine Heavy Slam versus a Flabébé. Poor Flabébé. But yes, Heavy Slam is going to do damage, Earthquake is your ground stab. Ability is Sturdy because obviously we're going to Mega it as soon as we get into battle for that extra defense boost. But you could run. It's not really anything else that's really that helpful. Rock Head, you've got no recoil moves, so there's nothing there. And then Sheer Force, again, we don't really have any moves that are affected by it. So Sturdy, you may as well go with in case you decide to switch in and then use some sort of Fire Blast. At least you still have one health point to do well. Nothing because you're too slow. But you guys get the idea. Nature is Impish to boost your physical defense because we want it to be as high as possible and lower your special attack. You could run a Careful Nature here as well, just to sort of bring the special defense up as high as you can. But here we're going fully physically defensive. Held Item is your Mega Stone, obviously. EV's maximum health points and special defense to bulk it up as much as possible, and the rest in physical defense. You could put this in attack, just to do more damage. But yeah, that's really it. You know, how would you use this? You go in, you Mega Stealth Rock hopefully first, and then Heavy Slam is going to be your main move, I do believe. In most cases, it's going to do more damage than Earthquake because of the fact that it's going to have a higher power because of that weight difference, as well as it, you know, obviously being super effective in some cases. Who knows? But yeah, that's really how you use that set. There's not much else to say for it. It's just Mega Steelix. It's a bulky Pokemon, use it for Stealth Rocking, you can, you know, go in, Raw, Toxic, go out again, come back in later, Stealth Rock again, that's really just how you use it. That's Mega Steelix for you. But guys, that is going to be it for this episode of my Pokemon DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. In the next episode, we'll either be covering Goodra or Gorgeist. Be sure to let me know which one you want to see down below in the comment section. So comment Goodra or Gorgeist. One of the G's from the Kalos region, the one that gets most votes, will be covered in the next episode of the Pokemon DataDex. But for now, this is going to be it for me for today. I'll be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.